Alright, I really don't know how I'm going to make this video. I know a little bit about what it's supposed to be about, but it's complicated and normally I try to sort it out, but I'm not going to sort it out. Now, first of all, and this will become relevant later in the video, um, I'm drinking this little box of wine. Now, I'll give you a hint as to why that is significant. Um, a little reveal onto myself. Now, I believe when you indulge in a vice, I believe in something in Hawaii we would call a decline. Now, this concept is spread beyond Hawaii, but it's decline. It should be Pono. It should be really good. I don't want a cheap alcohol. I want the best of not the best. I want a medium level thing, the bottom of the good stuff, at least. And give it half a chance. I'll bump it up a little bit, or I'll get the Macallan or whatever. So, like, what's the point of a cheap Scotch? I mean, you're drinking Scotch. Why would you have a cheap one? But it could be an expensive, but it should still be decline. It should be a discovery. Now, wines are actually great for this because the price of wine is not directly related to how good the wine is. There's a lot to the price of the label, and you can easily find like Australian wines underappreciated. California wines used to be underappreciated, and so it's not a price thing. It's a connoisseur thing. Now, Earl, well, I'll be talking a little bit about Earl of Portland in this video. Hi, Earl. But I'm going to talk about you in the third person. I hope you don't mind. Now, before this box of wine, I had three pretty good beers. Earl is Earl's philosophy about malt liquor relates to all this for me, right? And for you as well. It interacts. I'm not going to say exactly how it interacts. I'll just leave that. I'll let that soak in. Soak in, What tastes like freedom? What really tastes like freedom? Is a malt liquor decline? Just happens to be inexpensive. Is it not decline, but somehow is? That's not important. That's not what this video is about. What this video is about is about Adam O'Shea. Now, I noticed the other video I made. What had happened is I dropped it in over a video I had made before and it cut it off, so it stopped right at 15 minutes and 9 seconds. And it cut off like a 5 or 6 minute video, part of the video that I had made to Adam O'Shea. Now, Adam, I kind of feel you've been trolling me, but not in the bad way, but just in an honest way. You're seeking attention in my involvement, and I have given it to you, so that we have comment exchanges that are, I think, 100+ comments long, more than one. And you don't appreciate that time that was given, but then again, you're not really bound to appreciate it. But what has bothered me most is that you present yourself as my teacher, and you're not worthy of being my teacher. That's my feeling. Now, you claim disturbing things like that I'm trying to deny your existence. Well, if you're going to define yourself as my teacher and I deny that, maybe that's why you think I'm denying your existence. According to my use of the English language, I would have to say you don't exist to deny your existence, and I've said nothing of the sort. But what I have done is, since you adopt a position of trying to be my teacher, I have adopted a position of being your teacher, and you're a really bad student. So, the complication of this particular video is that I do accept Earl as a teacher. Now, a lot of my teachers I mean, when I've had a really good teacher, they have seemed to enjoy the fact that I challenge them back. I don't expect the teacher to be perfect. I've caught my teachers at human moments where their own frailties are at play. And I'm a big fan of Nietzsche, who basically says that teachers are to be overcome. If a teacher is successful, they will always be lesser than their successful students. Not every student, mind you, but the students that really achieve what the teacher hopes they will achieve leave the teacher in the dust. Now, I'm a 46-year-old, and I don't think that's the kind of student I am of Earl. But I accept the wisdom that Earl offers, right? And I do think there's a lot of wisdom there. Now, I don't think it's a wisdom for everybody. I'm a relativist and a skeptic, a Pyrrhonistic. I should just say a Pyrrhonist. And it's not self-referential. I mean the ancient Pyrrha of Elis from antiquity. And so to be the student of someone, it's a way of sharing ideas. Um, I don't know if both people can be each other's students, but it doesn't mean that the teacher is entirely ahead of, or anything that in an objective, dogmatic world, like the teacher is more sophisticated, and if the student surpasses the teacher, they have actually. No, there's nothing so clearly defined as far as ahead and behind. Those things are not defined. It's a matter of getting a sustenance, an intellectual food, right? So Earl is a good teacher for me. Earl's messages are nourishing to me, right? And I wouldn't vouch for them being nourishing to everybody, but maybe everybody isn't in a position in my own to get nourished by them. And my own hubris, my own pride, might just say that it's because of the position I'm in that I can benefit from them. Uh, and perhaps it doesn't even have to do with any particular insight or wisdom of Earl himself. Perhaps Earl is not even sophisticated enough to appreciate his messages in the way that I am able to, right? So there's a humility built in, is all I'm saying. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because, Adam, you would like to be my teacher. And if you wanted to be my teacher, then you should go watch Earl of Portland's videos more. Because that's the kind of teacher I'm looking for. You understand me? And, well, for one, he puts himself on video. And there's nothing particularly great about video. You could blog it or somehow communicate it, but just making these reactive comments, while I like comments and I like engaging with commenters, and there's nothing lesser about that. Again, just like I was saying, maybe it's the greater thing, but I'm not ready to to absorb the wisdom of a reactionary, right? I want an actionary. All right. And the incidentals that make that make it possible for me to absorb positive spiritual nutrient from Earl's messages has a lot to do with his bond with nature and being in nature and getting out in nature regularly. Right? I value that. And And you could learn a thing or two if you really seek to be a teacher to someone such as myself. I've always enjoyed teachers with immortality. I don't like teachers that try to give an image of perfection and completion and finality. Here's your destination, student. I never have liked that. That's a lie. I knew that was a lie all along somehow, right? So to really impress me as a valuable teacher, you have to convey some of the poetry of life, right? Some of the imperfection, maybe a few obsessions, maybe a few inexplicable pet peeves. Like maybe dwarf drives you mad, and you just and that's like, well, why is that bothering you? This mortality is a part of the recipe of appreciation, right? Digging into um, what would appear in a novel, in a biography, written by a properly, somebody that knows how to write, decline. Uh, that's an element of the that I have to see that before I can accept this alleged wisdom. If I see a perfection that I'm supposed to pursue, that's a, that's a red flag for me. So Adam, if you want to be my guru, um, you're going to have to get out in nature, and you're going to have to show some mortality, and you're going to have to respect impurity, and you're going to have to figure out a way to help me lower my standards, right? And humanize my standards, And that's the thing about dogs, really. Dogs are just lovely at that. Dogs are like, like they, if there was a heaven, obviously all dogs do go to heaven, and yet they like to sniff butts. That to me, there's something there that's like, that's real, right? Unlike righteousness and purity and eugenics and things like that. So I think this is a better video than those lost 6 minutes, because basically I just railed at you. And you keep asking, Adam, for a positive resolution. Now, I should also add that I clicked the mute button on one of your comments, Adam, and I don't know how to unmute. I don't know what mute even does. Does it mute all of your comments? Probably so, because instead of a long list of comments, I haven't seen anything from you. So you should just feel informed about that now, because I feel our conversation has reached an end, and I need a kind of growth that I expect to find out there in the forest. And for the rest of you, let me just say that have made it this far. Um, I'm having a great time. Okay, for me, by my standards. But life is complicated, and I have a lot of worries and concerns. I think I'm dealing with traumatic stress symptoms from my daughter's death, as well as from my life. My life has been pretty freaking chaotic, and in a lot of ways, it's been kind of a mind fuck. And I think a lot of lives have been, but whatever. I know mine has been, and yet this is probably the best time in my life. But because of this thing I was talking about, where I don't want my teachers to pretend to be perfect, I don't want to pretend that the best time in my life is perfect either. I'm trying to engage with it, right? It has to have shape. There has to be a shape to it, so I can wrestle with it, or dance with it, or dance and then wrestle. It has to have a character and a shape and a flavor. It has to be committed to a certain nature, right? Um, and the commitment is not necessarily forever, but there's a continuity. You're committed to a continuity. Things don't just go from strobe light red to strobe light blue and flash, flash, flash. I, though sometimes that's nice, sometimes that's the pattern of the moment. But I'm trying to explain a bigger picture where there's a flow, a continuity, where the momentum has a meaning, and 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 uh, and that means that it's not always sugar, it's not always salt, it's not always any particular flavor. It's a flow, right? And I like to provide a summary of my videos, but I have no idea how this should be summarized. But I feel really good about it. I think I said exactly what I was intending to say. Um, 16 minutes and I don't know, 10 seconds ago, something like that.